Welcome back. This is the first of two photographs I've used. There's some fascinating stuff here that I want to show you. The first thing I want you to look at these depressions going up the rock. This is an area that they call the rocky outcrop. Let's start over here. You see this depression here that goes up naturally up the slope. If you look there, you can actually see some cable or rope going up through the rock and hanging down there with a hook on the end, or it seems like a hook, and then it goes through that hole there, and I suspect up here somewhere. Now we'll look at the next depression. Still finding my way around this. Here, that goes up the rock. See this depression here? Well, if we follow that up to about halfway there, you can see what looks like lettering on the rock there, but you can also see this tubular structure with a hole going through it, and some kind of object at the back that's got a hole, a spouty type hole, a hole in the top, and a handle or grip on the back there. If we continue to follow up the slope, there's another rope or chain there with a square rectangular shaped metal bit with a hole in the middle that could be connected to this, and you can follow that right up to this, which is this video is about machinery on Mars, and we're looking at things that couldn't possibly be natural. They're man-made and manufactured, and this is one of them. If we look at it, the shape of it, you can see it's got straight lines, it's got like a slot there, as though it's supposed to hook onto something, and it's actually lying in a square hole. There's a hole in the ground there, and if you look at the side of it, just there, it looks like there's some chain going down into the hole, and that's where the third depression, ravine type thing here, it could be associated with that and that one. You see that? How smooth it is going through there, and it seems to disappear under the rock. So whether that was for actually dragging goods up the rocks, I don't know. But in support of that, you've got that chain there, or rope, or cable with a hook on the end. And I can show you something else as well. Very, very interesting. If we look at this item here, which seems to be a weight of some kind with a hook on the end, and it looks to be a metal hook. That could be connected with it as well. But the main point is that this here is definitely man-made. It could have a wheel of some kind there, or a cog, I don't know. but that is just one of the items I want to show you. Okay, so this is the second image I want to show you. Lots of interesting things in this. Here's one of them. When we're looking at manufactured objects and machinery. Look at that. See it? It looks like an engine housing of some kind of vehicle, I don't know. If we look at the outside there, it's got a hole there, it's got a hole there. It's the right shape for an engine to go in it. It's streamlined, it's got symmetry. Looks amazing. And if we move over to here, just ignore the face there. Thousands of faces on Mars. I'm more interested in the machinery. If you look at that object there, it looks almost elliptical in shape, coming to a point on this end, and it goes to a flat base, and on the inside you can just make out there's a chain here and a round piece in the middle with a center point pin. See that? So there's two items, well, three that I've shown you that are obviously manufactured, and they're not natural. Okay, this final image will show you something that I'm sure all you doubters will have to agree is a machine tooled item. Remember to check these images yourself. The links to all the images are actually in the description. Let's go down here and just look at this. Now, what do you make of that? That is, without a doubt, a part of some kind of machine. It's metal, it's got geometry, it's perfect shape, and it's completely unambiguous. That has been manufactured. Whether this on the right hand side is actually part of it and what is underneath it is part of it, I don't know. It could be buried, whatever it is. But that is amazing. That is precision tooling. So I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen. This is an image of the rocky outcrop, which I think is being used synonymously with the term Yellowknife Bay. And I looked at this one when I was doing the machinery video, doing some research for that. And I remember looking at that rock straight ahead, this one here, and I'm just thinking, well, what are the experts at NASA telling NASA about these rocks? Because that ain't no rock. And if that was a Hollywood prop for a rock, it wouldn't even work at night for me. Just take a good look at it. If you're looking closely, you can actually see that it's like a canvas, and it's got like rope around it. You see it? Don't believe me just yet, I'll prove it to you. All around you can see these lines, and down here it's actually broken off and come away, the canvas or tarpaulin or whatever it is. I'm not sure what it is yet, but I'm going to prove to you that it's a covering. Let's go to another image. This, if you remember, is where I did the machinery video just next to the image I've just shown you. And what I noticed in this one, I did point out to you that there was some rope or cable going through the rock there. Well, I couldn't understand why you would want cable or rope actually going through a rock, because you couldn't haul any goods up there, could you? And the same applies with the rope down here. There you can see where it would be attached to, and it would be pulled up by, I assume, this tool here, which, as you can see, there's a chain going down the hole. And what is that for? Well, see, there's another hole coming out of the rock, coming down to here. But over this rock, you can see that there is like rope that looks like netting. You see it? All over. Now, I'm just guessing here, but I think that the rope would be passed over the rock and it would be pulled underneath the rock and tightened by this machine at the top. This machine here. And it could be, I mean, you've got a hook there, look, I'll show you another hook later, but you can see the cable coming down here. And all of these markings that you see across the rock are actually ancient ropes tying a cover over, I think possibly storage or habitation. And if you look down there, you can actually see it goes under the rock. You can see two cables going there. You can see another attachment there. You can see more cable here and there. And it goes on and on. On this picture, by the way, I've adjusted just the contrast a little, just so that I can show you these features. See, you can see a cable going over there, rope, whatever you want to call it. Now, don't believe me yet. I'm going to prove to you that that is the case, and that is what has been happening here. So what we're seeing is not necessarily real. Let's just go to another image. Just to remind you of that ugly rock we saw. See it? Now that is a large structure there. Could be a habitat or it could be machinery, I don't know. But the adjacent rocks as well are also covered, as you can see, for some reason. Okay, so this is another NASA image in the same area. And what I'd like to show you is down here, all of this region, I believe, is underground facilities, storage, habitats. I have no idea, we've yet to find that out, but let me just prove to you my theory. If we look down at these rocks, you can actually see, the rope, and that they've been tied in a sort of net fashion. This is how fishermen would make their nets. You see it? And this one is actually up in the air there. It's open underneath, and you can see artifacts down here. I can see a few things there. See these things here? But look at this. This one didn't work. Can you see? The rope everywhere. This is all open. And in fact, if you look at it from there, you can see quite clearly this is all manufactured. It's been made like that. It's a huge, huge canvas. And this one, if you think of a hot air balloon, look at the shape of that. I know it's open there now. This, for some reason, didn't work, or it's been damaged. It comes down to this point here. And you see that section there? There's an opening there. And that is why I think all of those rocks that we've seen, especially the ugly one, are not real. They're covering habitats, machinery, bunkers, I don't know. Have a close look. You see it? That was really bugging me, and I've actually cracked it. So I think, NASA, you need to take a second look at these rocks that you're seeing, because they ain't rocks at all, some of them. And if you look around the areas where these habitats are and storage facilities, whatever they are, you will see holes in the ground here, there and everywhere, which is obviously ventilation for whatever's underneath. Now, added to that, this one here, I wondered why they would want to blow it up like that. Well, maybe they've got some sort of material that once it's blown up, it will stay in that position. It just needs to be tied down. Hence, all of this. And it dawned on me in the inflatable video that I did, I found an inflatable which looks similar to this. Let me show you. This is the part of Yellowknife Bay that I found the inflatable, and it's just lying on a rock. There, see? Just here. And I remember at the time wondering, what could that possibly be for? But you can see this end piece is similar to the piece that I'm just showing you now in the side there. So that is what it's for. I think I'm right. Because even when I was looking in this area and doing that video, I noticed that there were a lot of what I thought were fishing nets. But you can see down here, see all this? And then I thought, well, how do they inflate something like that? And it dawned on me that in this area I spotted something which I didn't use in my video, something that looks remarkably like a gas canister. And that is just there. You see that? Okay, so let's go back to the ugly rock. So NASA, this, you can tell your geologists, is not a rock. It's covered, and you can see the ties, and they carry on over here, over there, over the top of here. So there you have it. We started with an ugly rock that didn't look like a rock. We found the reason for that. It's not a rock, it's covered, and there are lots of rocks just like that. And the particular one on the top picture on the screen at the moment, I think NASA could just go along and peek underneath it and see what's there, or even just pull the canvas away. I'm sure it's got the ability to do that, and let us all know what's under there. There may be technology there, habitats, who knows? But I can assure you that there are other things as well that NASA doesn't know about. Things aren't quite what they seem on Mars, and I'm going to be going into that in a lot more detail in the next video. This is the right side, the far right of the panorama, and this is Curiosity looking towards Mount Sharp from Gale Crater, and to the extreme right you'll actually see this structure here, which appears to me to be some kind of transport system, and I think it goes right the way through Mount Sharp, and it terminates here because this is another transport hub, probably flights or ferries across Gale Crater when it was a huge lake. These are amazing images. You really need to check this panorama. The link will be in the description. Let me take you around to just a few interesting things that you'll see. As we come round a little bit to the left, you'll see this structure here. Now that looks to me to be actually the roof of a building, a terminal building. You can see there's a head of an animal there, and it appears to have an S on its nose. I'll just zoom in a little bit. You can see it, the figure of an S there, and there's a bird on top of the animal. Whether that suggests flight or just travel in general, I don't know. But it's an amazing image. See it? Huge. And I suspect the main part of the building is under the sand there. I'm going to move around again now. There's some amazing stuff here. Now, just check there, you'll see, I don't want to zoom in too much, you'll see there some steps going up the slope there, and you'll see steps also going right the way up the hill there to, what can you see in the distance? Ruins. They're not ruins, they are intact buildings because they are all perpendicular. They're straight up and they are intact. I think we're looking there at the outskirts of a city perhaps. Here in the foreground we have ancient type building, vehicles, in the background there. Now can you see how this is all unnatural? It's been formed, it's been built. This is a vehicle look, and it seems to have some sort of a wing on the side. Whether that's to do with flight, I don't know. If I zoom in a little bit, you get some more detail there. This actually shows, do you see the steps going up to the wing of the vehicle there? for access. And if you look beyond that, you'll see some more steps there leading up either to the other wing or to a vehicle behind it. And those buildings in the background, I suspect, are buildings, and they're all intact. And on the slopes, as you move round, which I first thought were actually ruins, they're not. It's lots of artifacts. There's pipe work and maybe even vehicles that have been blown up onto the hilltop there. But here, let me just zoom in a little bit, be patient with me. It's difficult working with a panorama. If I just zoom in, can you see there are what appear to be hangars in the side of the hill? Hangars or bunkers or garages even. And this here appears to be like an aircraft, but it may be a boat of some kind, but it also has an S on the side, which suggests to me that the city of S, the transport here was intercity, because you wouldn't need to put S on everything, would you, if it was just staying in that particular city. So my guess is this and other stuff, other transport, in this area was to take people to other parts of Gale Crater, and that this terminal here was where they got off and connected to the transport that would take them across Gale Crater. This, my guess is, goes straight the way through Mount Sharp, and I wouldn't be surprised if Mount Sharp is actually completely hollow and we've got a huge metropolis in there.
Hey, just before you go, if you want more relaxing stuff, you might know that I wrote a book, 7 Habits of Calm and Happy People, and now I even made an audiobook version. It's the best habits that work for me for being more calm, more at peace, and I think you're gonna like it too, so you can find it for free as a gift at findcalm.com/book. Findcalm.com/book. Check it out.